Avi Meyers, Northtown Neighborhood News Magazine, a presentation of Sonny Hirsch and myself. Dial us up on the web at www.ntnm.org. And you'll find all the shows on YouTube. Jewish Chicago is out. If for whatever reason they're out of it where you are, and a lot of places are going to be out at this stage, go to ntnm.org. There'll be a link. You can check it all out. You'll be able to see the full content, ads, everything. So it'll be there 100% in total. Thanks very much to Sonny Hirsch, entire technical crew. This has been a great election season. We've never interviewed more people. We actually did 7 special shows on top of these shows, and you can find them at our website. It is a pleasure now to introduce you to a candidate for judge of the Circuit Court of Cook County, Lynn O'Malley. How you doing?
I am well. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good, thank you for having me back.
First of all, it's my pleasure, and I'm glad you can make it. And why don't you tell us a little something about yourself?
I'm running for the Circuit Court of Cook County, countywide, in the Conlin vacancy. I've been a practicing lawyer for 20 years. I currently practice personal injury law. For 16 years before that, I was an assistant state's attorney in Cook County at 26th in California primarily, and I'm also a teacher of the law.
Very good. And where do you teach?
I teach at Northwestern University Law School. I've been teaching there for 9 years, and for 6 years before that, I taught at DePaul at their law school, and for 4 years, I also overlapped and taught in the undergraduate criminal justice program at the University of Illinois at Chicago.
That's pretty cool.
It is very cool. It's such a pleasure to work with these students, and they're so bright and so motivated and hardworking. It's really a privilege to be a part of that experience.
So, I mean, you've got this really good career, and you're getting to do all these great things. What makes you want to become a judge?
Well, I think that, as you know, the role of the judiciary is really one of the most important roles in the legal system, and certainly in the criminal justice system as well as the civil justice systems. And having grown up, literally spending 20 years in the courtrooms, I know the significant role that judges play in the lives of people who are before them, as well as the lives of people who are never before the court, based on their rulings. They do have a great impact on our society, and I think that based on my experience and my education and my temperament and my qualifications, that I would be well suited to that position.
No, it sounds good, and you've got good marks from what I've seen so far.
Well, thank you. Yes, I've been in front of all the bar associations, and each and every bar association found that I was qualified or recommended.
Very good, and that's definitely very important, and not everybody gets that. You'd be surprised. There's a lot of names on those ballots where you probably shouldn't be voting for those people because they're not qualified to be a judge. And like you were saying, the importance that happens from, you could lose your family, you can lose your freedom, bankruptcy, home, you can go to jail, you can lose your life. I mean, being in front of a judge is going to affect you a whole lot more than your alderman or state senator or anybody else.
Well, I agree. And it's not only the person that's the litigant before the court that you as a judge have an effect on, but those people have families too, and the community that's been affected, especially in criminal cases. You'll have a victim and you'll have a defendant, but the victim has a family and an entire community of people that your rulings will affect, and the same is true for the defendant. So it's extremely important that you be open and unbiased and respectful in the courtroom, because what you have to do is listen to all the information before you and make the fair and reasoned ruling. And that's a very, very important role in our system.
No question about it. And, it's a whole different feeling. I actually sat on a jury about 1.5 years, 2 years ago, and it was a whole education for me from a whole different standpoint.
Oh, I would love to be on a jury. I've never had the privilege of doing that. But I can imagine in talking to jurors after the jury trials that I've done, I always try to get their perception of not only our performance and the case, but of the system and their role in the system as well. So I envy you that you've had that opportunity.
It was, the truth is I really didn't want to be picked.
You and everyone else.
And if I had mentioned the caps thing, I probably wouldn't have, but I forgot to mention that. And it's a one-day trial, but it was really an experience to do things from that standpoint, and it really taught me quite a bit. As a matter of fact, taught me more than I wanted to know because I accidentally walked out the wrong gate into the prisoner area.
Oh, well, that could be interesting, especially depending on what your verdict was.
Well, let's put it this way. The guy was, the funny thing, in this particular case, just to tell people quickly because I'd rather talk about you, the guy was up for shoplifting $19 worth of stuff from Walgreens with cameras on him, eyewitnesses, and he insisted on a jury trial.
That is his right.
It is his right, and hey, it made for a very interesting day. The judge was Diane Cannon, not the movie star.
And that's great, because usually the judges say that no one remembers the judge, so it's terrific that you do.
No, well, listen, it was an experience, and at that time I was already covering these things, so it was very interesting from my standpoint. So are you going out, pressing the flesh, meeting people,
Oh,
new
absolutely,
faces?
absolutely. I'm still a full-time practicing attorney with a very busy practice, but every night, at least 1 to 2 events, and every weekend, the days start very early and they end very late. But I don't mean that as a complaint, because it is really an absolute pleasure to be out in the community, not only talking to people, but my goal is to listen to people and to get from them their observations, their insights about what they think a judge and a good judge should be, and what their observations are of the system, because I think it's important for all of us, especially on the judiciary, to continue learning all the time. And what better way to do that than by listening to the people that you will be serving?
You know, with all the judges and judicial types I've interviewed, that's the first time I've heard anybody say that, and I like that a lot.
Well, thank you. It's absolutely sincere on my part.
No, I can see that, that's for sure, but I just think it's great. I mean, I never would have thought about it from that standpoint. That's very cool. I am sure you have a website and contact information.
I do. It's www.o'malleyforjudge.com. I have a Facebook page, which is Karen Lynn O'Malley for Judge, and all the information is on the website where you can get a hold of me.
Karen Lynn O'Malley, running for Circuit Court of Cook County. She is actually our last guest of the season on the regular show. And I want to thank you very much, Karen Lynn O'Malley. I want to wish you a lot of luck in the election. I want to thank my technical crew, Sonny Hirsch. I want to urge all of you, if you haven't voted early, go to the polls on March 20th. Start from the bottom at the judicial stuff. There's some good races on top, too. You know, we've talked about those throughout the course of the show, but make sure you vote in the judicial elections. Thank you, everybody, and go out and vote.